Well, Atheist Gamer 100, you're proven wrong, as always. I signed on to GodHatesSinners.com and I'm still there, so no, they did not ban me. Believe me, I am not going to deny the fact if someone's a moderator. I would jump all over the throats if they did it, but as I said, I know that they ban people. But they are Christian fundamentalists first and moderators second, and I am trying to exploit that gap so that I can combat moderators. And you're not getting that. The only thing that seems to have happened to me on GodHatesSinners.com is that I've been downvoted a few notches, and that's probably because of you. So I don't have anything to say about them. Well, I guess I do have one thing to say, but it's related to another topic. It's this idea that moderators are somehow, able to believe anything other than their own violent lusts. It's this idea that anything a moderator says has merit. It doesn't. Moderators cannot, by their nature, have a political belief system. Moderators cannot believe in anything because it perverts whatever they're trying to convey. Any belief structure that a moderator has is just completely raped under the pretense of moderatorship. I'll give you some examples. Democracy. A lot of people don't like the idea of democracy because they always presume the negative side, that is 51% of the population versus 49%. But either way, even if it was like that, that would mean that moderators would still not have legal power to ban somebody. That would mean only 51% of the population has the right to ban 49%, but it would still require that process, and moderators don't do that. So they cannot be even a negative democratic, thing, let alone a positive democracy, which would be more so around 75 to 80% of the population. The republic. Maybe they could be considered a republic. After all, they are an oligarchy. Maybe a negative republic at that, in that a negative republic would appoint new republicans as opposed to electing them via the people. But even then, a republic is kept in line because people within the republic are equal and are able to debate things and are on equal terms, and nothing gets done without the majority of the republic's approval. That's not really how moderators work either. While they do see themselves as somehow separate from their members, and they're all relatively equal and banning people however they see fit, they do it individually. Very rarely do I see moderators having to consult one another before banning anybody. They just do it, and the other moderators back them up because they feel superior to them. They feel superior to the, Gentile members. So what this comes down to is that it has mannerisms of a republic in that it has this Senate floor, but in a real republic, it requires that debate. It requires that, admission. It requires the republic itself to actually talk about it and to come to a conclusion as a group, not simply as individuals, and then the group has that individual's back. That's not a republic. That's simply crime. That's simply a mafia. And that's, if they want to act like criminals, I'll be glad to call the police right now and haul their asses to jail my damn self. They don't even have to, cops don't even have to come to their house. I'll fucking go over there, get on a bus, house arrest, citizens arrest them, maybe beat them up a little, bruise them up, and then they can go to jail. They want to play that game of gangbangers? I'm willing to play that game. But you gotta admit that, because you do not have a political position if you're arguing that you can act like a crime lord and then turn around and claim you're this and that. You're libertarian, you're communist, you're socialist, you're democratic, you're green, you're nothing. You're nothing but a fucking bully. So, and that especially applies to people like RevLeft and SovietEmpire.com who dare to claim they're communists of all things. No. By no means no. I mean, even the right wing could not justify moderatorship. But at least they get some leeway because you expect that kind of shit from the right wing. But to go as far as to claim you're socialist or communist and to be a moderator or advocate moderators, you are the absolute scum of the earth. and we will hang you on the rope you sold us. So, I want to get some more of these positive and negative variations out there just to prove to you how moderators have absolutely no place in human civilization. Even capitalism cannot support moderators. Many people would argue otherwise because that's their first damn excuse. It's my property, I can do what I want to. How is it your property? Who defines property? That's a very interesting question, isn't it? How do you determine whether or not something is your property? Has the government said it was your property? Well, wait a minute. Libertarians don't believe in government. So what makes it your property? Nothing. You have no fucking property. The only thing that makes it your property is you saying that it does and everybody just kind of going along with it. That and you willing to commit violence in the name of your property. So what it really comes down to is playing imaginary games of pretend and might makes right. That's the only way to physically define you having property in a libertarian society. That and using government, which is just another extent of might makes right. So, there is no such thing as property. There is only the exercise of force to enforce this idea of property. And therefore, when you take out that equation of somehow property existing when it clearly doesn't, all you have left is the transaction of labor and products between people using the proxy of currency, or bartering, or something else. Free trade. So when you have free trade, let's presume that they think, the capitalist thinks it's easier to, moderate in the sense that everybody's on the forum. Let's just put everybody on the forum. And now, there's the negative side, in which people basically have to auction to keep their freedom. If somebody wants to get banned, the person that bids the highest gets that person banned. And therefore, money is always just trading hands to get people banned and unbanned and things like that. It's awfully chaotic. More so, I expect them to lean towards the positive side of just nobody can post there at all until they pay a fee of some sort, like facepunch.com, I believe. Or, no, not facepunch, somethingawful.com. So, yeah, like somethingawful.com is the closest thing to an actual libertarian forum, in that people pay to post there. Oh, but wait, they get banned fucking anyway. They get banned even after paying, even after participating in the free market. Because, oh, the moderator owns it. No, I just went over this. You don't fucking own anything. You have already participated in the free exchange of goods and services. You're done. Get over it. Let them post. Shut the fuck up. But they can't do that, because they're fucking sociopaths. They're criminal scumbags, they're terrorists, and they need to be shot or something. Because they're not going to stop. They'll make any excuse in the world to do what they do. And, capitalism gives them the most leeway, but even then cannot, in fact, 100% justify moderators. So, there is absolutely no excuse for it. None whatsoever. And as many people that say that communism is a political moderators or something of that sort, no, it cannot be. Communism is the mutual benefit to everyone. It is the mutual cooperation of everyone over the means of production. Therefore, nobody could be banned, because that would be telling them that they are not equal to us in terms of producing things on said forum, said website, said internet, said everything. Everybody is equal under the law and under social structure. Everyone is treated as one super body. So, no, you couldn't ban somebody. You could theoretically protect yourself from physical harm. If somebody were to come up to you and point a gun to your head, you have the right to defend yourself. That's a life or death situation. But you do not have the right to organize some sort of superorganism against this individual and separate yourself from the superorganism, or have them be separate from your superorganism. In other words, we are all one body. We are all one being. And therefore, when we separate them, or they separate us, or we separate ourselves, we have deviated from the idea of communism. Now, mind you, I know that is difficult to transition into. We are not going to get there overnight where we see ourselves that way, where we see ourselves as part of something greater, and that, our individual needs are secondary to the fact that we are mass-producing, rapidly evolving creatures that, think as one entity. That when we work together, we do better than we work apart, and therefore we should at all times try to do things in an effort to combine ourselves. We should always strive to work as one rather than to work as individuals. But, that's not going to happen overnight, so it's not practical to think alongside those terms. It would be much more efficient to just say that, people should have rights, and that people should be respected, and that at the end of the day, you should always lean on the side of letting people just be left alone to do as they wish, and not inflict pain and suffering and, your bullshit on them. At the end of the day, just, if you don't like somebody, at least respect them enough to not be liked. Respect them enough to be able to exist, to not be liked, and just leave them the fuck alone. It's not that difficult. But moderators seem to think it is. Moderators seem to think it's so goddamn difficult to just leave people alone, to post what they gotta post. Even if it's a shit ignorant post. Even if it's a troll post. Just let it be. It's not affecting you. You still have a gigantic forum. You're still making lots of money. You're still number one. What the fuck do you care? And that's what it's about. They just want to rape somebody. They want to pin you down, stick their dick in your butthole, and fucking rape you. And I'm not going to put up with that. I don't think anyone that considers themselves a decent, civilized person should put up with that. If you put up with that, you are not a human being. You are not a moral person. You are a fucking scumbag if you sit there and make excuses for these so-called people. So, that's really all I have to say here. Is no matter what your political persuasion, there is no excuse for moderators. There are flaws to every argument. There are flaws to every ideology. But at the end of the day, you should know right and wrong. And clearly moderators and their little ass-kissing mobs don't. So, to all of you that make the negative comments on my videos and shit like that, you don't know shit about right and wrong. You don't know morality. You are inferior creatures. You are some kind of unevolved primordial ooze that is holding back the rest of humanity. And if there was any kind of God, you would be stricken down right now, inflicted with some kind of painful disease, or your mother would have just had an abortion and never had you to fucking begin with. So, that's really all I have to say.